students, I am Dr. Vidya Patil, serving as Assistant Professor of English at Government First Grade Women's College, Bidar. Today's video is related to session number 3, 4, 5 and 6 of the BSc III SEM Basic English course, which is prescribed in the colleges affiliated to Karnataka State Akka Mahadevi Women's University, Vijaypura. Let us now begin with session 3 of the BSc III SEM Basic English course. This session is related to Unit 1, that is Inner Voice. As we have already seen, this unit consists of 2 lessons. Today we will be seeing the first lesson, The Quest of Man, written by Jawaharlal Nehru. In this session, we will try to understand what this whole letter is about, which Nehru had written to his daughter Priyadarshini, that is Indira Gandhi. Also, we'll try to find out more about man's eternal quest for knowledge, that is to find out the world and around him and try to understand how nature works. So, come on students, let us now try to understand this lesson. So students, as you all know, Jawaharlal Nehru spent 9 years of his life in jail before independence. During this time, he wrote prolifically, and most of these were written in the form of letters to his daughter Priyadarshini. He actually began writing to her in the summer of 1928. She was living in a hostel in Mussoorie at that time. In these letters which he wrote to his daughter, he wrote about a wide range of topics such as languages, trade, history, geography, science, epics, evolution, etc. His words are really inspiring. Nehru's letters were not only very informative, but they were also direct and informal. The lesson which is prescribed for you, The Quest of Man, is the 56th letter in this series of letters. Nehru lived for nearly 4 months in the Bareilly jail. He was then shifted to the Dehradun jail. This letter was the first letter which he wrote from the Dehradun jail. The palm trees which he found around the jail reminded him of Ceylon and Malabar. Ceylon is nothing but the modern day Sri Lanka. Indira lived in Mussoorie during this time, and he describes the surroundings and environs of his jail in this letter. Nehru has certain doubts which he expresses in this letter. He feels or he is afraid that his daughter may not be interested in knowing about these topics and she may lose interest in reading his letters. He then continues to trace how the world has changed step by step and developed and progressed. He shows how man from the ancient days continued to progress and develop and reach the present day modern world only due to his eternal quest for knowledge. Nehru goes on to explain how various advancements like the discovery of fire, of agriculture, of settling down in towns, and the division of labor has contributed in the growth of human beings. All these are supposed to be major improvements or advancements in the growth of the human civilization. Man is considered to be more interesting than all the other animals in the world. This is because of his mind. Man has this unique curiosity to know and understand everything which happens around him. Man has the keenness to learn new things. Not only this, man stores his experiences and learns from these experiences. Therefore, man's quest is never ending. So, Jawaharlal Nehru shows how man is one of the most superior animals and how his quest for knowledge differentiates him from all the other animals in the world. Nehru says that man is continuously questioning the things which are happening around him and trying to understand these different things. Man has found his answers in religion, philosophy, and science. Nehru believes that science is the most reliable way to answer these questions of man, as it relies on experiments, reasoning, and the mind of man. In the image on your screen, you can see a beautiful definition given by Nehru, a quote which says, "The future belongs to science and those who make friends with science." This shows that he firmly believed that science was the only way which could help us understand the world around us and which will help in our progress and development. Nehru says that man's quest is to understand nature and to understand man. According to him, both the quests are nothing but the same, as man is just a part of nature. The very same thought has been expressed even in the Upanishads and by the old philosophers of India and Greece. They all have stressed on the concept of know thyself. That is, to know and understand yourself, you need to understand the nature around you. It is only through nature that we can understand ourselves. Science has made immense progress. Nehru tells us that science has not only tried to understand the stars, but also the electrons and protons at the level of the atom. Man has learned to understand nature and use it to his own advantage. This has made man very powerful. Man has now got the ability which only nature had. That is, he can now bring light, sound into his life just by using science. But man has misused this great power which science has bestowed on us. Man is using science to apply or supply weapons, to kill other human beings, and to destroy our civilization. Let us now just summarize the different points which have been expressed by Jawaharlal Nehru in this lesson, The Quest of Man. This lesson consists of 10 paragraphs in all. Paragraph 1 to 3 describe the author's place of imprisonment, the new jail which he has been shifted to. He also describes his happiness in being closer to the mountains and closer to Mussoorie where his daughter is studying. He also enjoys the mountains and greenery which are surrounding his prison. In paragraph 4, the Jawaharlal Nehru expresses his doubts about the worth and value of his writings and is afraid that his daughter may no longer be interested in reading his letters. This adds a personal touch to his letters. In paragraph 5 and 6, the author attempts to recreate the history of the world from prehistoric times to the modern days. So, here the writer tries to show how man has developed from the ancient days till what he has achieved in the present. Paragraph 7 traces the journey of man in this quest for knowledge about the world. So, Jawaharlal Nehru shows how man has progressed from the ancient stage by discovering fire, agriculture, division of labor, settling down in cities and towns, reached the modern stage, and but still his quest for knowledge continues unabated. The author says that man's mind is his greatest asset. This is his biggest advantage, which is why he can be differentiated from all the other animals in the world. It is man's mind which has helped him in his quest to understand the world around him. Paragraphs 8 to 10 describe the twin approaches or the two different approaches to understand the world. Some try to understand the world through religion and others through science. Man's quest for knowledge has two distinct directions. One is either to understand himself and the other is to understand knowledge. Nehru prefers the scientific approach because it is rational and open-minded. However, man is misusing science, and this is what is worrying the writer. He expresses his sincere threat, which he feels that our civilization may be destroyed. He is very afraid that man who has put in so much of efforts to develop this civilization may destroy it because of misuse of science. Now I would like to point out some of the highlights of this lesson or this letter which was written by Jawaharlal Nehru. The subject matter of this letter is very philosophical, but in spite of it, it is rendered in a very simple and elegant style. The main theme of this letter is human or mankind's eternal quest for knowledge. The letter tries to deal with this particular aspect where man is always trying to understand the world around him. The different paragraphs of the letter are linked to each other and it sounds more like a story about human civilization. The prose style which has been adopted by Nehru is very personal, subjective, conversational, and informal. He has even stated in the letter that whenever he wrote, he used to imagine that he is sitting with his daughter and talking to her. That is why we can see that the entire tone of the letter is very conversational, as though someone is sitting and talking to us about these different aspects. It is quite informal in nature, and that is why even such a difficult topic and more of a philosophical kind becomes easy for us to understand. In this lesson, we have now learned about Jawaharlal Nehru's life and his writings. We have also analyzed one of these letters which has been written by Jawaharlal Nehru to his daughter, also his theme, the style in which he has written. I am sure, students, you have now got an idea about how a letter can make even a complex topic like the quest of man seem to be one of the most simple things to be understood if it is written in a very fluent and easy style. So, I am sure you have now understood this lesson and got a good idea about Jawaharlal Nehru's style of writing. Now it is quite evident why Nehru was called a man of letters. Though he is known for his political goals and what he had achieved in the political sphere, but he is also remembered as one of the greatest writers because of these letters which he had written. So, students, in this session, we have tried to analyze and understand the first lesson, The Quest of Man by Jawaharlal Nehru. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.